Hey nerd family, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking at installing our Wyze Home monitoring system. If you didn't see our unboxing video, we are starting with a bare bones kit just to kind of test it out and get started, but of course you can add more things to it as you see fit going forward. So let's go ahead and start getting everything installed. But before we start, I'm going to go ahead and roll that intro, and I'll see you back here in a second. Alright guys, welcome back. I hope everyone out there is staying safe and staying healthy. If you haven't already checked out thenerdcircle.com, make sure to head over there and check it out. And if you're not following along on social media, you can follow on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Real Nerd Circle. Sometimes we post some things over there if it's not quite time for video just yet, so if you don't want to miss out, make sure to follow there. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel and you'd like to do so, go ahead and subscribe. It definitely helps us out as we are continuing to grow the channel here. If you are a new subscriber since the last video, you will see your name scrolling across the bottom. We definitely want to thank any of our new subscribers as you're helping us continue to grow. So we want to thank you again. And you will see your name scrolling across the side for all of our subscribers. Again, we want to thank all of our subscribers as you're helping us get to where we want to be. Our next milestone is 500 subscribers, and we are on our way there, so thanks again. We also have a lot of other links for some new things that we got going on, so make sure to check the description down below. And if you guys do like this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up, as it definitely helps us out here. It lets YouTube know who likes the videos and who to recommend them to next. But alright guys, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get the Wyze Home monitoring system installed here today. If you didn't check out the unboxing video and you'd like to, go ahead and check that out first, and then come back and watch this video here. We will have a future review video after we test out the system, so make sure to keep an eye out for that as well. But go ahead and follow me as we continue the installation. Alright guys, today we're going to be looking at installing our Wyze Home monitoring system. So stay tuned as we go through the steps. If you guys didn't see the unboxing video, this here is our Wyze Sense hub, which is sort of the brains of the whole system. This here is our Wyze Sense keypad. You can of course purchase multiple, we just have the one to install today. And these are our Wyze entry sensors that are going to go on our doors and windows. You can of course purchase more. We're just starting with 3 just to test out the system. So stay tuned so you guys can see how everything's installed. Alright guys, so here we are going to start our installation of the Wyze Home monitoring. Now a few things to kind of go over here first, and a few disclaimers to give you just to make sure we cover our bases. So I have installed this before. I had a family member purchase it and they got theirs before me, and I was able to go help them install it before I installed mine. So I am going into this kind of knowing what to do and knowing what may potentially arise here. But I will say it's a pretty straightforward, easy process. It's going to take me a little bit longer to go through with it today because I'm filming and kind of doing everything for you guys. But you can get it done if you're tech savvy. You can get it done in pretty quickly, pretty much like say 15 minutes or so. You can have it done and over with. But if you want to really customize things, it may take you a little bit longer. But if you just want to get everything set up just so that it works, you can go through it pretty quickly. Now, first thing I want to tell you is you do have the user manual here. It's a pretty extensive user manual. I'll kind of move some things out of the way here. But you're really going to want to use the app since you're going to be using the app anyways. So when you open it here, it's going to give you all the information that you need. It's going to first tell you to download the app, and then it's going to tell you to follow the steps in the app. But you can of course read through here. There's a lot of great information in here as you unfold the whole thing here. You can see there's a lot of information, so you may want to just kind of skim over it just so you kind of understand the basics of it. But the app is going to really do most of the heavy lifting here for you. You do have some other stuff on the back, so let me flip that over for you. But if you are new to alarm systems, then it is going to kind of give you some of the basics of what to do, how to use it, how to arm it, how to set the delays, things like that. But everything is done through the app, and it's pretty straightforward when you get into it. I am going to load up the app and kind of have you guys follow along with me as I get it set up here. Now, one of the other kind of disclaimers that I want to give is the Wyze Sense hub You do want to make sure it's pretty centrally located in your house. If you do want to take advantage of the hardwired internet connection, then of course you want to make sure it's somewhat near your router, or you want to make sure you have a long enough Ethernet cord. The one they give you is a decent length, but it's not going to stretch it very far. I want to say this is maybe 5 feet. I didn't really look at it per se, but I want to say it's about 5 feet, so it's not going to go too far for you. Of course, you can use Wi-Fi. Just know that the Wi-Fi can sometimes be a bit spotty. If you don't have the best Wi-Fi, that may not be the best solution for you for your home monitoring, so keep that in mind. The other thing I will tell you guys, and I could experience it differently, but when I set up the home monitoring for my father-in-law, this speaker is really not very loud. We did set it on high and it's still not very loud. They ended up having to move it from where it was centrally located closer to their bedroom, so if someone broke in the middle of the night, they'd actually hear the siren going off. We will see if we get the same experience or not, and then we will update in a future review. But that might be something that Wyze wants to look towards, as either coming out with a version 2 of this that's got a louder speaker, or some other, I don't know if you can attach maybe multiple of these, so that way you can have one in the centrally located area, one towards the bedroom or in the bedroom. That's something that I'm going to test going forward, and we will update further, but that's just something that I noticed when I installed it previously. Another disclaimer that I want to give here is the Wyze sensors. You will notice currently I do have sensors for my current home monitoring system that are already installed. I will not be taking them down just because I'm still using it, since I don't have enough sensors for everything, but I will be placing these next to it. You can see that the Wyze ones are a little bit bigger, but not by much. One of the other disclaimers I will give is I'm currently using a touchscreen panel, which I hate to really give up that touchscreen panel, but I'm really going to test Wyze out here and see how it works, and I am saving some money going with the Wyze home monitoring versus what I currently have. So if I can save some money and I have to lose the touchscreen, then it's not a huge deal, but it would be great if in the future, if Wyze comes out with a touchscreen panel, I would probably buy it depending on the price, because I like having the touchscreen and having some other options that I have built into that unfortunately you don't get with just a number keypad. Alright, now as we get set up to install here, I do just want to mention that as I'm going and showing some things here, I apologize if you see any slight messes. Unfortunately, having a almost a 1.5-year-old, everything, no matter how clean we make it, just seems to be a mess everywhere. So I apologize if you see any messes here. I did my best to clean up, but hopefully we won't have too many messes to worry about. I also do want to let you guys know I may be going a little bit out of order versus what the app may tell you to do. One, because I've done this before, and two, because I also want to record my screen as I'm going through the app and doing things, and unfortunately I can't record video with my phone and record the screen at the same time, and I just don't have the option to do multiple cameras here today. So I'm going to do the best that I can. So you may see some things as I do it that have already been done, just to kind of give you the fair warning. But the steps for you to follow through are pretty easy, so I don't think you'll have any problems. I did myself find it wise, no pun intended, to first time I installed this, to go through as it tells you to do the sensors. You're basically setting up the sensor and telling it where you want it to be before you install it. So I would kind of take it and put it in an area where I want it to be, so that way I didn't mix them up. But I will say that even though I did that, somehow the Wyze app still kind of mixed one of them up and caused us a little bit of confusion as we were testing out the system. It had back door and front door reversed, and then for some reason the back door kind of fell out of the system. But as we figured out what was going on, it was pretty easy to go back through and just change the sensors after the fact. You basically just remove a sensor and then repair that sensor and rename it. So if it does happen to you, it's not a hard thing to fix. It was just a little confusing at first. But hopefully that helps you as you go through this process. Last quick disclaimer I kind of want to give to you guys. So we have our front door right here, and we have our garage door over here. You will see there is this old school panel that's right there, and then we have our new age panel that we're currently using right here. We put the panel at the front door because, well, it sort of makes sense to have it at the front door, but we never really use the front door unless we were, getting packages or someone's ringing the doorbell, we're getting food or anything like that. We always come in the garage. So yes, we could mount this, somewhere around here, but we think it makes more sense to mount it at the garage since we're coming in and leaving from the garage more often than the front door. So we're gonna somewhere mount it around here. Just as you see more video here, you're going to see this old school panel. We're not using the panel. It is kind of an eyesore. Some of you may ask, why not get rid of it? So to answer that question, the reason we're not getting rid of it is because if we do decide to sell the house or anything in the future, it's technically still hooked up. So we want to keep it there just in case future homeowners want to use it. Alright guys, here we go. We're going to load up the Wyze app. Now I did forget to point out you want to download the Wyze security app. They do have a Wyze Home app for some of the other devices, but we do want the Wyze security app. And when you download it and load it up, that's what you're going to see. We're going to click on the monitoring tab at the bottom, and it's going to go ahead and get you set up with the home monitoring setup that you see on the screen there. Now it does tell you here that it's going to take about 40 minutes. You just want to make sure, of course, you set yourself enough time to go ahead and go through this process here. Now, as you proceed, you are going to have the device set up here. These are some of the things you'll need before you begin: Wi-Fi, sensor hardware, and a Wyze cam if you have a Wyze cam. You're going to go ahead and plug your hub into power and into your router, or, of course, if you choose to use the Wi-Fi, then you want to go ahead and set that up as well.
Hello. Please follow instructions in the Wyze app to complete setup.
And when you turn it on, you will hear that announcement. You do want to make sure you raise the 2 antennas on the hub. Press the reset button on the back of your hub.
Ready to connect.
You want to make sure you allow the Bluetooth there. And then it's going to start pairing.
Connection is successful.
You will hear that connection is successful, and then you're going to go ahead and get this screen. So you can kind of go in any order that you want, but we're going to go ahead and start here. We're going to start with the keypad.
Ready to connect.
When you pull the tab there, you're going to hear the Ready to Connect button. You want to press and hold the keypad reset button. Release it when the home flashes. And then you're going to hear that noise.
Pairing successful.
And when it's paired, you're going to hear pairing successful. Now you want to go ahead and name your device, just something that you know what it's going to be. If you have multiple keypads, you may name them, front door, back door, or whatever's going to make sense for you. They do give you some suggestions there, or you can type in your own. And then it does give you some steps there to go ahead and mount your keypad. Pretty self-explanatory, but you can go ahead and follow those steps. And now we're back to where we can add some other things here. We're going to go ahead and add our door and window sensors. So you're going to start by removing the plastic battery tab. Now, as it says, if you did previously remove the tab, you can move to the next step. You do want to make sure you do these one at a time, just so you don't get yourself confused.
Ready to connect.
You're going to hear Ready to Connect, and you're going to press and hold the reset button on the unit until it flashes.
Pairing successful.
And then you will hear pairing successful, and you should get a notification on your phone. Now we're going to go ahead and name this device. Again, it's going to give you some suggestions, or you can type in your own. You can, of course, choose to share this device with family and friends, or you can say maybe later, and you can always do it later. Now we're going to go ahead and follow the steps to place the new sensor where you want it to be. Again, pretty self-explanatory, but you can go ahead and follow those steps to make sure you get the sensor placed. Alright, and now we're going to go ahead and add another device. Since we have more sensors, we're going to go ahead and do the next sensor. Same thing as the previous sensor. We're going to go ahead and remove that plastic battery tab. We're going to press and hold the reset button until the light flashes.
Ready to connect.
And then you'll hear the ready to connect.
Pairing successful.
And when it does pair, you're going to hear the pairing successful, and you should get the notification on your phone. And then again, we're going to go ahead and name the device, choose to share it with friends or family, and go ahead and place this sensor. And then we're going to move on to our third sensor. Of course, if you have more sensors, you're just going to keep following this process until you're done with all your sensors.
Ready to connect.
And then after you do your last door or window sensor, it will bring you back to that main screen where you can choose other sensors. If you did purchase other sensors for your alarm needs, then of course you want to make sure you set up those sensors as well. We just only have the 3 door and window sensors here today, but you do want to make sure you follow through and do all the sensors that you have supplied. So if you have a climate sensor, a leak sensor, or anything else, motion sensor, then you want to make sure to do those as well. Now it will ask if you're adding any Wyze cams. We do have a Wyze cam set up, but we didn't want to go ahead and add it into this system as of now. So we just said that we have no cams to add, but if you did purchase a cam along with this, then you want to set up that Wyze cam as well. We're just doing ours separately since we already set up the cam. And then it's going to bring us to the home monitoring setup, where we do see that we got step 1 completed, and we're going to move on to step 2, which is the dispatching information. There are 3 steps here, and the first one is home setup. We're going to go ahead and do that now. Now in the preceding steps, there are some things that we do have to skip over, unfortunately, because it gives personal information, so some stuff will be blurred out, other stuff we may have to potentially skip, but it's pretty self-explanatory. So you will get a welcome home screen, and we're going to go ahead and click on begin. You're going to put your address information in, and then you're going to name your home. You can of course choose one of the suggestions or type in a name that you prefer. And then you're going to fill out your name, and you're going to click next. And then you're going to put in your phone number. This is so that way Noonlight, which is who will contact you in the event of an alarm, will have the correct information for your name, phone number, and your address. It is going to send you a one-time verification code. You're going to put that in. And as you can see, that's the dispatching information now complete. And we're going to move on to the monitoring setup, which has 8 steps, starting with alarm triggers. So we're going to go ahead and start there. We're going to go ahead and click next. And it's going to tell you what are the modes. Modes let you manage all your home monitoring devices, so disarmed, home, and away. It's going to go through those different modes here with us. First up is home mode. Next up is away mode. Alright, and we're going to select the sensors for our home mode. Now, you can set this up a little bit more intricate. We're just kind of doing it basic here. So for our home mode, we can go ahead and choose which sensors that we want to use to trigger alarms. In our case, since we only have the 3 sensors, we want all those doors to be able to trigger an alarm. So we're going to go ahead and select all 3 sensors. And then we want to also select the sensors for away mode. Again, in our case, with just the 3 sensors, we're going to select all 3. And then it's going to go ahead and tell us to set a PIN code. It does tell you what a PIN code is used for, and you're going to set that PIN code here. And then it's going to ask when you want to require the PIN code, either when you switch modes or not. You have a couple options there. And then it's going to go through the entry delay with us, so how much time you have to allow the disarm of the alarm there. and the exit delay. Now this is for home mode. We're going to go ahead and set the entry delay. So how long you have to go ahead and put your code in before the alarm sounds. And then the exit delay of how long it gives you after you set the alarm before you leave. So we're going to go ahead and set those and click next. And then we're going to do the same thing over here for away mode. And then it's going to ask about security cameras. So again, if you are adding a security camera while you're doing this, then you want to make sure you add that security camera. For now, we're going to go ahead and say skip, but you can choose to add up to 5 cameras. Then you want to set up a safe word. Just in case your alarm does go off and Noonlight calls, you want to make sure to have that safe word. You want to make sure to choose something that you're going to remember, but also that's not easy for someone else to guess in case there was an intruder. This does give you a little bit of information on Noonlight here. Again, they are the ones providing the monitoring service. They're more of an up-and-coming monitoring company, but they do get a lot of ratings, and other companies do use them as well. But definitely research Noonlight if you are unfamiliar with them. Now, in my case, it did say that there was a firmware update, so if you do have that firmware update, it's probably best to go ahead and do that right away just to make sure you're fully updated and ready to go. It does say it can take up to 10 minutes, so you may want to just go ahead and set it aside and let it do its thing. And as soon as it's done, it'll put us right back where we were. Here we go, we are now updated and ready to go. Now, I do suggest if you are new to alarm systems, or even if you're not new to them, you do enter this test mode and test it for a little bit, even maybe a week or so, just to get yourself used to how to use it so it doesn't actually call any emergency response and you don't get any fines for them coming out when they were not needed. So if you enter that test mode, it allows you to kind of use everything without actually calling the monitoring service. Just know that you're not fully protected, of course, until you exit test mode. And now this is just some of the settings that you'll see when you're inside the app here. Now there's the volume that you see for the hub is currently set to mid, but in my experience, even on high, it's just not very loud. I do think that's something that they have to work on. Pretty much everything at this point is set up, so you have different settings you can kind of go through and poke around and see. But as you can see, there's a lot of different things that you can actually do in the settings here. We're not going to cover everything here today, but if you do want to see more in the settings, then of course let us know in the comments down below and we can go and make another video. But there's quite a few different things you can go in, adjust, and change in the settings here. You can create a monitoring schedule where it repeats on different days of the week. You can choose the day and the time. Set it for home, away, or disarm at certain times.
Running on battery backup. Please restore power.
Now I did just unplug the hub because it kept telling me the hub was offline in the app, so I unplugged it to try to reset it. You may have heard it say that it was unplugged and going on battery power, so I just want to make sure you guys do know that that is an option. It does have some backup battery power. Now you'll see here I'm actually looking in the shop just to kind of give you guys a quick idea here of some of the other items that they do sell. Wyze does have a pretty long list of items that you can buy. A lot of them are priced pretty well, and in my experience they do work pretty well. So it might be something if you want to get yourself into the Wyze ecosystem to take a look at some of the other products that they have. But as you can see here, you can buy more sensors, keypads. If you want to get the leak sensor or climate sensor, they have all the different things under that home monitoring tab. But you can check out their smart cameras here. You can see that they have different cameras, whether it be the V3 or the Pan 2. They have the doorbell. They have all sorts of different cameras. They have a floodlight. And like I said, they're reasonably priced for what they are. and they're always coming out with new products every couple months or so here. So definitely keep an eye out on their products. But they have things that are under the connected home tab, like vacuums and door locks, air purifiers, vacuums. They have the sprinkler controller. They have smart lights, bulbs, all sorts of different things. I'm actually looking at getting the sprinkler controller. It seems like a pretty good one for what it is. Alright, so I did want to just make a little update after the installation was completed, just to kind of show you what it looks like here. So as you can see, we have the old sensor here and the new Wyze sensor here. I did opt to put it over on the side just because I didn't want it to go too far into the middle of the door, just personal preference there. But I also opted to put the bigger piece on the door because as I was installing, I realized that this wasn't going to really fit the trim very well. This one here barely fit it as it was, so it wasn't going to really fit that way. So you may have a different situation, but that's the way I decided to take. But installation note, unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to burn this sensor and get a new one. I'm not going to do it right now because I was able to kind of make it work for now, but it looks like this fits. The door opens, but after the door opens, the sensor's in the way for it to close, and it's just kind of a hassle to get it to go back again. So I think I'm going to have to peel this off. It may or may not stick again, so I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board and where I want that to go. So just bear in mind, you may want to double, triple check the fit before you actually stick it down. So that is the sensor on my front door. And here's how it looks over on the garage door. So very similar setup. And this one does rub a little bit, but not as much as the front door. So I can kind of show you that here. And it rubs a little bit. Now, if I didn't already say it, you may have heard it say garage door open. That is my old system. I will point it out probably again in the full review, but I would love Wyze to implement that to speak what door or window is opening versus just the little ding chime that you hear. It's nice to have that ding chime, but even on high, it's not very loud and you don't know what door or window is opening. So it'd be nice to have an update where it actually speaks as to what door or window is opening. It would just be a nice added bonus. So that is my garage door. Now we're going to move over to the keypad. As you can tell here, I did have to move some keys and stuff out of the way to be able to get it mounted where I wanted to. We did have some other keys and things hanging here, so we had to kind of move some things, but that's just personal preference as to where we wanted to mount it, and you can see how it looks. I really wish I could do away with this old looking thing, but as I stated, we want to keep it just in case when we sell they can decide to use the one that was built with the house. So that's how the keypad looks. Now we do have intentions, if we keep the Wyze system, to have like a keypad in the bedroom as well, but for now we're going to stick with this one keypad. Now forgive the mess over here, and I will say, you notice that the cord is wound up on there. I'm probably going to be relocating this, and I decided to unplug it before I made this video, but this is kind of the central location of the house. Forgive the mess here, but I do have internet coming in right here, so it plugs in right there. I just didn't have a good outlet available here, so I may have to either maneuver some of my devices that are plugged in, or I may potentially move it. So for now I do have it kind of wound up, but you did still hear it go ding when I opened one of the doors, and that's because it does have a battery backup. When you first unplug it, you may have heard previously it did say running on battery, please plug back into a power source. I don't know exactly yet how long that battery backup is, or how long it has to be plugged in to have a certain amount of battery backup. That's something we'll have to look into and put into a future review, but it does have that battery backup, so although it's unplugged right now, it does still ding when the door opens or closes until that battery does run out. So if your power goes out, it's a great feature to have. And then you can see over here on the back door how I have it mounted here. Similar to how I did it on the front doors, but the frame on the back door is a little bit different, so I had to mount it over here instead of on the inside because unfortunately there was just not enough room for the door to open and close with it mounted on the inside. so it looks slightly different, but it still functions, and this door does successfully open and close the way it is now. So that's how the back door looks. Alright guys, so as I'm sitting here editing this video for you, I realized that there was no outro that was filmed, so I'm just filming this little outro here. I do hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I was able to get some insight as to how the setup process works for the Wyze Home monitoring system. There will be more videos to come, including a more full review video. Of course, in the meantime, if there's any questions you have as far as the unboxing goes or as far as the setup goes, then let us know in the comments down below. Or of course, you can reach out over on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Real Nerd Circle. And we'll go ahead and answer the questions to the best of our ability. And after we test out the device a bit more, we will be making that full review. If there's anything you'd like to see in the full review, make sure to let us know as soon as possible. We currently have the one Wyze Cam V3, the home monitoring system, and I'm looking into getting the sprinkler controller, but there's a lot of other products I'd like to test out. And Wyze, if you're watching this video, we would love to form a partnership to be able to test out your products and potentially help get our viewers a discount. So make sure to reach out to us. If there's anything that I noticed I forgot to mention in this video, I will leave it in the description down below. While you're down there, make sure to check out the new links page. There's a lot of links that you guys can check out. One of which being our new Buy Me a Coffee. If you guys do want to help support the channel and help us keep making these videos, head over to buymeacoffee.com/thenerdcircle, and there's a couple different ways there you can help support the channel. No obligation, but if you do want to help, that's how you can do it. You can also help out by liking this video. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up. It definitely helps us out as it lets YouTube know who likes the videos and who to recommend them to next. If you notice anything that we forgot to mention, please leave it in the comments down below. And there are definitely no shortage of Wyze products. If you do want to see us test out some other Wyze products and make unboxing, testing videos, and review videos, let us know in the comments down below. Also, if you could please share this video across any social media platform that you like. And if you're not already subscribed and you'd like to do so, please make sure to go ahead and subscribe. Don't forget to ring that bell so you get notified of any new videos to come out. You can also follow the links on the screen to the older videos. And until next time, guys, stay nerdy.